morning, good evening, welcome back. It has been it feels like it's been a red hot time since I have been here for this stream. I feel like I am slowly getting back on the horse. I'm not 100%, but I am definitely improving. So sorry if I still sound not awesome, and I hope I don't cough. We'll see. But lots of medication to try and help clear all this up. So just a quick heads up, it's just asthma stuff. I have chronically bad asthma. It's a change of season. I ran out of medication and I got a head cold all at the same time. Created a nightmare, and now we are fixing it. So that's the long and the short of that. But it's going to be a little bit till I'm fully back going again. But I'm so happy to be back here chatting with you guys. I love talking live stream. I love talking about moderating. I love helping people with their YouTube. These are the things that I'm most passionate about. I love helping people. So like Leanne's here Leanne is one of my mods over on my Fibrific channel as well. And she knows, like, I just love helping people. So we've got over on the Fibrific channel, we've probably got the most educated yarn crafters when it comes to YouTube. They know all the tricks. They know how to get the best out of their own feeds and make it do what they want it to do. So that's kind of fun. But this week in Doug's live stream, when he went live on our Saturday night, which was probably your Saturday morning, he talked about the new translate feature and how it only shows up for the streamer. So I grabbed a screenshot of what Doug was showing on the screen and I threw it over onto Twitter, and I was like, hey, Renee, I've got a wish list thing. Well, this morning I woke up to notice that there's a message from Barbara, and Barbara's, I'm not sure of her exact title, but it's like head of live streaming, basically, or around that sort of level. And she's come back with, we don't have an ETA, but we'll see what we can do. Because I truly believe that translations, or that those translations should be available for at least the moderators, if not the entire chat. I think this is one of those amazing tools that could be a total game changer. It's kind of like a universal translator for YouTube, having live translations in the live chat. It would make life a lot easier for moderators. I had a chat with a couple of my other moderators I caught up with yesterday, and we were discussing how great it would be that you didn't have to sort of try and copy and paste it into a translate thing, work out what it said, and then come back and make a decision on what was said, because sometimes there are people out there who rely on the fact that they've written their awful comment in another language, which allows it to stay there longer to be seen while it's being dealt with. And there's a lot of streamers out there who just ignore comments in other languages because they either don't have the time or the manpower to deal with it. So they're like, right, it's not in English. The majority of my audience is English. It's totally fine. I'll just leave it. I don't know what it says. It can't be offensive if I don't know what it says. But unfortunately, that's not always the case. Now, there are just as many, gross people speaking other languages as speak English. And you don't know what they've written. And it could be something as simple as, love your stream, this is awesome, or good morning, or whatever. It could be something so just normal that it's like a non-event, or it could be something really offensive that you don't realize you're letting somebody offend your audience. So if you don't have the time to translate it, someone in your audience may have, and they might be sitting there looking at the translation going, oh my gosh, this is just being left here. Like, do they even know what this says? And there's a good chance they don't know what's being said. So having this open up for everybody would be awesome, and at least moderators. So it should be at least the very minimum. It should be the streamer and the moderator, or streamer and moderators. But I honestly believe it should be for everybody. Let me know in the chat, what do you think? Do you think this translation tool would be useful for everybody? Oh, can we say Star Trek Universal Translator? I mean, I did say it, so, I definitely said it already. Oh, I must have been jiggery pokering with some things. But yeah, I think that for me, it feels nearly like that level. It's so good. Doug says, agreed. That is awesome. That's awesome. Leanne saying good morning to everybody. Livestream Consultants is here saying good morning as well. Doug's really, I don't have a must, but I think I must get one. Barbara is great. Yeah, Barbara is so much fun. I used to love when she did some of the Creator Insider, the news things. So I think that that's sort of where I saw her most from. And then sort of more as she stepped away from that. And I realized that she actually has a really big, heavy job. So I was just like, oh, okay. Like understanding that the people who host the Creator Insider, like, or come and guest on it, they also have like heavy jobs at YouTube as well. They're not just faces of a channel or PR people at YouTube. They actually have usually some sort of product that they're managing. Good morning, Walter. Great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Gamer Widows is here as well. Good to see you too. Yeah, back in the Tom days, I really like, does anybody else miss Tom from Creator Insider? Like the movie quotes at the end, they're just sitting in a random chair in a storage room with his notepad. I miss that so much. It had such a good feel. Now it feels like very highly polished and very, very production heavy. And I think that's what I liked about it before. What it wasn't that. It was just something he could, it was just something that like he found out some stuff and shared it and like made sure it was shareable. Like, you know, it wasn't giving away the barn or anything, but you know, just I really appreciated that kind of low key human effort. And I think that's sort of why I keep my streams the way I do. It's not just because of Tom, obviously, but I like the less like over polished, or not even over polished, but less polished, more real kind of feel to my streams. And obviously, we can all have the streams that we want to have. If you want high production value, highly polished, you can have that. You can build that out and you can do that. And there's no reason not to. Other than what do you want? Like, what do you want? So for me, I like the more low key, feeling like it's just a couple of mates hanging out, talking about YouTube stuff. And it feels a little bit more real to me. Let me know in the chat what kind of streams that you enjoy the most. Like, I actually, it's so bizarre. I actually like lots of different kinds of streams for different purposes. And so it's just really, it is such a personal choice. There's no wrong answer here. I just really want to clarify that. There's no wrong answer. We each have our own opinions. We know our own audiences. We know what our audiences want. I'm that person that's like, yeah, cool. If my audience wants something super polished, they're probably in the wrong place. Because here, like, while I have knowledge and I want to impart it and share it, I also want to be relaxed at the same time. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do this. So yeah, it's a personality thing. It's a personality thing for me. So so over the last couple of weeks where I've sort of not been doing any streaming whatsoever, I could barely breathe. So I wasn't writing my book. I wasn't putting anything towards the course. I wasn't really doing anything. I was kind of keeping the wheels in motion for stuff for work and then just basically vegging out, just trying to breathe, just, you know, I was trying to look after myself and so that I could be here long term and just keep it going. But I really feel like I've sort of fallen a bit back behind and I'm trying to catch back up again. So that is the plan for the next couple of weeks. I also don't want to like go too hard straight out of the gate because it is, it's definitely, I could just relapse. I could just fall back again. And now I'm totally going to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Hang on a second. And I did not put my thing on silent. There we go. Sorry about that. Walter's saying hi to everybody. That is so awesome. I love that you all talk to each other. I think that's so good. Leanne says, I love lives that involve us all, host and those on keyboards. Me too. Well, that chat command did not work. Bummer. Which chat command? What chat? Oh, Princess worked. I saw it come up. Or at least, I saw a Princess come up. Is that what you're talking about? I definitely saw Princess. It was when the stream first started. But I haven't seen anything else. But yeah, I think having, and like obviously different size streams, if the audience is enormous, it makes things a lot harder to just really it makes it harder to read all the comments. It makes it harder to interact with everybody individually when the streams are very big. And so different creators have to come up with sort of the best case scenarios for those instances. And so we're in this lucky position here, and I do consider it a lucky position, where I get to know each of you individually and I get to answer your individual questions. And so, or just chat. Without any sort of well, for a start, without the stream moving so fast you can't read anything. Oh, you tried Trap. I didn't see. I saw Princess. Let me see. No, I didn't see. Let's see if I can make it. Do we have Trap? I don't even know if we had Trap. I thought Trap was one of Doug's. I don't know. Is it on my list? Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work. I don't know what, Doug, I'm really confused. Is the exclamation must, is that something I should know about? Because my brain's like, I don't remember. Oh, I am a bit out of the loop. I am a little out of the loop, I will be honest. When it comes to, I need to go through and look at my own list of chat commands. Let me just have a quick look here at this Google document. No, Trap is on the list. It is. There you go. Okay. All right. I'm not sure why it's not working, but yeah, sometimes things don't work. And we just have to but it's not that they're not all working, because I definitely saw Princess. So it's definitely there. Livestream consultant says, in a busy chat, even with 20 or 30 people chatting, the chat can get almost impossible for the host to interact with. Yeah, I think it depends on how often people are commenting. I mean, I've been in chats where it's up to sort of 70 people, and I've been able to keep interacting fairly easily. But the individuals were not spam. Well, not spamming, but comment. It was 70 people watching, and probably I would say maybe 20 or 30 people actively chatting. I mean, I'm guessing with the active chatters, because you can usually see the concurrent viewers, but you can't actually see the number of people, just as a fixed number of the number of people actively chatting. That'd be an interesting stat to see, actually. The difference between those that watch versus those that chat. And obviously, you can go in and you can open up and you can see who is currently in the live chat, and it only shows the names of the people. So if you go to the top bar and hit your 3-dot menu and you look at participants, you can see a few names. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4 names here at participants in mine, and those are the main people that are chatting right now. But that doesn't carry for the whole stream. So because Walter wasn't on that list, and Walter was a heavy chatter. So he came in and said hi to everybody. So it does make things sort of, it's information we don't have, and I like to have all the information. You guys know that. It'd be very interesting to see. I mean, does anybody else? I mean, it might not be that interesting to see. It might just be my brain's just latched onto something and going, yeah, that would be cool. And when reality, it's well, it's probably one of those, that's interesting, oh, that's interesting to know, rather than I need this data to survive kind of thing. So, but yeah, I think it really depends on who's in the chat, and how fast the chat's moving. Now, I love that there are tools out there like YouTube make it possible for us to slow the chat down. So, as either managing moderator or the streamer, you can go in, or channel manager even, you can go in and adjust the live stream settings and edit it to slow down the chat. So you can make, so each individual can only comment every 30 seconds or every 5 seconds, or you can choose the timer. And so you've got these options to slow the chat down so that you can read all the comments. I was watching a chat with I think it was Philip DeFranco back in the day. It was a long time ago. It was like years and years and years ago. And I'm not kidding when I tell you the chat was moving so fast, it was a literal blur. There was like, unless you literally stopped the chat, you could not read the comments. And it was to the point where people knew that was happening. So they were actually creating, so it was making it worse, but they were creating like images with like emojis so that when it blurred, they kind of like snaked down the screen and things like that. So that makes it very difficult to interact with your chat. So yeah. Livestream consultant says, I have a fellow live streamer that has a live stream with 400 to 800 concurrent viewers, but there'll be probably 40 to 50 people posting comments, and it can get fast to keep up with. Yeah, it absolutely it can. Yeah. He's usually very choosy in replying to anyone individually due to that. Yeah, I mean, and this is why you've got the likes of Nick Nimmin, who creates the form. Like this week, in his live chat, we noticed that there was somebody in there who was getting quite titchy that he wasn't responding to the comments out of the chat. But you have to understand that there comes a point where you have to come up with an alternative solution to be able to give meaningful feedback, especially in a Q&A show like that he's doing, where he is willing to bring people's channels up on screen and give them real feedback on what they've got laid out and answer their questions. And he can't be expected to interact readily with the chat as well as do these in-depth answering of questions at the same time. And so the sort of the medium point there is creating the form where people can put in their question into the form, and he can take it from that form, and then he can just move to the next question when he's ready to, whereas the chat's probably moved on quite a lot by then. And so, having these options for those sorts of things, you've got Roberto Blake, who sets up, he makes it so that if you want your channel review, you need to do a super chat of a certain amount. The moderators fill out forms, put all the information in ready for him so he can go in and do that. And both of these guys do still pick out little bits and pieces out of the live chat every now and again. Like Daryl Eves is the same. Like usually he has a guest and he focuses very heavily on the guest, but every now and again he will comment on something in the chat or answer somebody's question in the chat. But when he has a guest, he's focusing on the guest. So the different live shows have different formats. And so, and this is where people get, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they get a little bit indignant. My brain won't give me the word. But a little bit indignant where they won't respond to them how the chatter wants them to respond to them. And so, like, because other streamers do it that way. Like other streamers will just answer from the chat. Why won't you? Blah, 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 blah. Why do you have to have a form? Why do you focus on your guest? Every show, every live stream is different. And it's different because of the people running it. And it's different because they understand their audience and they know what they're trying to do. They could be testing something. Now, you guys know for me, I'm not the biggest fan of ignoring the live chat. So if you're trying to record a podcast or something like that and you're going to ignore the whole chat, just record a podcast. Don't make it live. Do you know what I mean? Like, so that's my opinion. That doesn't mean I get to boss around other channels and tell them what to do. And so understanding that when you come into somebody else's chat, there's etiquette. And especially if you're someone new in a chat and you kind of come in and like for me, I sort of, I go into a new chat I haven't been into before. I'm reading the comments. I'm seeing how the chat, like how the streamer interacts with the chat. I don't just walk in and expect to be, like, oh, welcome, Princess Chantelle, roll out some red carpet What questions do you have that you want answered by the streamer? No. Every stream is different. It's like walking into different meetings with different executives. Everyone runs their meetings differently, and you have to look at it from that perspective. So as a viewer, like I'm talking about as a viewer, but as the streamer, you need to know that your viewers are coming in with expectations that you may have no idea about, and that you could be destroying whatever thoughts they had in their head when they were coming in. My favorite are those people that just come in saying, make me a mod. They're my favorites. Let's have a look here. Lots of coffees and hydrates. I will actually have, I've got tea today, but nice hot tea. It's a bit cool this morning here. It's lovely. I'm trying not to complain because I'm really enjoying actually being cold. Livestream Consultant says, Nick is one of the best ways to handle a large chat on a show like His and D's. Look, I think it's a really solid way to do it. Like I can't think of another way that would work as well. They get the data that they need because they have all questions in the form and people need to fill that out. So they get the information and the data that they need to actually give helpful answers. And so I think it's great. I really do. I think it's a really good way. Livestream Consultant says it's one thing to do a monologue at the front end of a stream, but then break into a chat and address the cues in the comments. And absolutely, I agree with you. And I do that on occasion. But when I'm talking about doing the podcast sort of style, I've been in streams where they have come in, they've recorded the podcast, and then they've ended the stream. There was no real interaction with the audience whatsoever. So it is definitely, there's different ways to go about doing things. And I sort of sit there and I think those people that do those live podcasts where they don't interact with the stream, I definitely wonder what they think the audience is getting out of it. Like they obviously get view time out of it and watch time, but I wonder what they think the audience gets out of it. If they can't ask the questions or like of themselves or of the guest. So I'm always perplexed what the thinking is behind there, because that's something I really like. I like to know. I like to know context. I like to understand what it is that I'm either watching or doing. And so it's like it's for my brain to just sort of slot everything into its places. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. Sometimes the context is they don't actually give a crap that the audience has no viewer satisfaction. Oh, cool. I've just got the error streaming message. So I'm very sorry if you guys are having a problem there. I'm not quite sure why it's being a numpty. My speed test was really good this morning. But yeah, so having like some people actually, their issue is not that they don't care about the viewer satisfaction. They're busy doing a live stream or a podcast, whatever. That's their focus. Leanne says, I sit back and watch for a few, I sit back and watch for even a few lives. I say hello to the host though. Yeah. Game Widow says it's 7 degrees where she is. I think I checked this morning just before I went live and we were about, feels like 12 and a half. It's up to 15 now. So it is heating up as the sun beats on this wall. It's warming up. Live stream consultant says it's 91 here. It's 91 F here. Winds 11 out of 6% humidity. Perfect desert weather for us. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't know what the humidity is here. It was a slight buffer, but all good. Thank you. That's good. No, it was definitely something here. I just got the big yellow, like, I probably didn't move around enough. And Ecamm, for whatever reason, like I don't switch scenes that much in these streams and stuff like that. So I'm not moving around enough. And so Ecamm drops down what it sends through, which is really annoying. Like, why don't they keep it anyway? I'm like, I'll just have a little rant about that another time. It's like they should have a minimum and not go under that because YouTube don't like it. Okay. So yeah, understanding like the context of why streamers stream the way that they do is something I personally like to know. Like, let me know in the chat, like, is that something you like to know? There's a little bit of a mini rant about Ecamm and its like saving data thing. You're just like, oh my gosh, why do you do this? But yeah, it's definitely understanding the context of why different streamers make the decisions that they do. I'm always really super curious about that. And I will actually send people questions every now and again, and quite often I get no responses. Or I get like why do you care kind of messages. It's like, I just like to know, like what was the thinking behind doing it this way? And I'm exceptionally lucky that I have a boss that understands that I don't, like, how do I put this? It's not that I don't care what the answer is. Like, I'm not looking for something for myself, like as in any kind of like, I want the positive answer to be like, whatever. I just need the answer. Like, and I'll just accept whatever that answer is, but I do want the answer. So it's just like, what's the thinking behind this decision? I just want to know what the thinking is. Like, I'm not gonna. It's like, it's not right or wrong. I'm just curious why people make decisions the way that they do. Anyway, my poor boss gets a lot of questions along those lines, and he is extraordinarily like kind in responding. And the other day, I was like, I'm really happy you don't just reply back with because I said so. And then he replied back with because I said so, because he is hilarious. But yeah, so it's one of those things where having the context and understanding why people do what they do can be helpful. And so for me, just in case you are wondering, I like to make streams where people are comfortable, where they feel like they can ask a question, where it doesn't matter what the question is. There is no questions that are too small or too silly, because everyone started with zero knowledge on YouTube. And I've been in chats before where somebody asked a question that was a little basic, and they were ripped apart by the other community members and even the streamer for asking such a stupid question. You could have Googled that. And it's just like, yeah, do you know what? They probably could have Googled it. They possibly could have. But in that moment, they actually went, oh, I wonder what the answer to this question is, and asked it to people that they assumed had that knowledge. That person may never be brave enough to ask a question in a live stream again, or at least not for a long time. That person may actually not enjoy live streams anymore because of how they were treated in a live stream. And that is not what I want. I want people to come into my live streams, be able to ask their questions, be able to have conversations with people, and walk away with the knowledge that they need. And if they do need to Google it, because sometimes you do need to do your own research, understand how to frame that. Because I've Googled things before, not found the answer, reworded it, and then gotten the answer. Understanding how to Google things. It's not just like super simple. I mean, it's getting easier. It definitely is. But sometimes if you don't have the right terminology, you may not get the answer that you actually need. And if you don't know the terminology, and then people are rude and dismissive when you're trying to get help, like, does that sound like an environment you want to be in? Like, it's not me. Definitely not me. Because Chantelle says so. Yeah. We take basic. Yeah, absolutely we do. We do. You've Googled stuff while live. Absolutely I have. Because my brain latches onto something and I need that information. I'm like, what is that? And I'll quickly go and check it. Because in that exact moment that somebody else has asked the question, if I don't have the answer, if I can help them find the answer and show them that it's okay to not know all the answers, like, it is okay to not have all the answers. It is okay to ask questions. It is okay to be new or to be like behind the eight ball. Like, I struggle a little bit with some of the AI stuff, right? It's not that I don't like to use it. I get worried I'm going to break something is what it boils down to. I get so worried that I'm going to trash something that somebody else has already built, and then I'm going to come in and just destroy it because I didn't know how to do something. And I get so worried about that I move into like this, well, I'm just going to research how to do it better because I don't want to put it in the live thing because I might wreck it kind of thing. And so I end up in this loop. And I understand that, and I'm trying to stop myself from doing that and just have a bit more faith. But I understand what it's like to end up in this full research mode constantly where you actually have no action because all you're doing is researching, but you're researching around and around and around. You're not researching, getting your answer and then taking action. You're researching around and around and around. So it's just one of these things where learning how to stop yourself, get the answer and take action. Stop yourself, get the answer, take action. And sometimes when you're in a live chat and you ask somebody a question, that could be that one answer could be the take action step next, and you've stopped them from doing that. Chantelle does not know everything about live stream, especially moderating. Absolutely, I do not. And I've never claimed to. And I have lots of opinions and I have lots of experience. But the second you say you know everything about something, you stop learning about it. You close yourself off to the new. Like, I would say I have skills and I have knowledge. I don't have all of the skills and I don't have all of the knowledge. And I don't think I ever will have all the skills or all of the knowledge. Unless one day I become a computer and I become the live streaming and moderating AI. That could happen, right? That could totally happen. But yeah, it's there's you guys know the drill. You've been around. You know how I work. But if you do have any questions, you could drop them in. Yeah, opinions are like noses. Yes. Yes, they are. They really are. Everyone has them, and some of them smell. Thank you, live consultants. Excuse me. Sorry. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's definitely the thing that I think about live streams and about YouTube in general is that it's a place for learning. It is a place for gaining knowledge. And the live streams especially are the place for getting community of the people that are trying to learn the same things that you're trying to learn, or to learn about the things that you're trying to learn about. And I think if we're creating these really inclusive places where people feel confident and comfortable to ask their questions without fear and retribution. Now, obviously, there's going to be different niches and different types of things. And I've had some kickback before when I'm like, making a safe place for people to ask questions, and people are just, there's some people that are like, the second you mention safe place, they get triggered. And obviously you've got different niches and different styles and different kinds of streams. These are the kinds of streams I like to be involved in. I don't like to be part of negative communities. If that makes any sense at all. I like to be part of groups that lift each other up and try to help other people to grow, whether it's crafting, whether it's YouTube, whatever. Positive influence is and more positive going into the world. I'm not I don't enjoy content that's really negative and really like pranky and cruel and it's just not my taste. It's not my speed. And while I talk about moderating from a side of the positive and where we're trying to create these safe places, you can use that if you have the other kind of content. If you're a streamer and you make that sort of more negative, more and it's not even necessarily negative, but the different content styles. You can still utilize all this information to make it so your community has what it needs, to do what you want it to do. So just because I talk about it from a slightly different perspective doesn't mean you can't give it a shift and still utilize the information for your community and for your kind of content. So, whereas I do talk about it from a positive, sort of encouraging and an inclusive area, you can still utilize that information and utilize it for your own benefit, for your own community. You just have to, take it for what the different things are. That made no sense. But do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I mean there? Like, it just because I frame it one way doesn't mean it can't be reframed, and the information still work, but with a slight reframe. Negative Nancy's just need to be grounded out. See, I don't actually agree with that either. Like, I'm not I don't enjoy that kind of content, but there's plenty of people out there that actually do, right? And they look for it and they enjoy it and they find it funny or, lighthearted or whatever it is, or it takes away from their bad day. Now, that's not my kind of people, but there's plenty of those people out there, and there is content for everybody on YouTube. And so while I wouldn't mod for them, they could offer a good package or whatever for that moderating program. I won't moderate for a negative leaning channel. Because it's not my, I feel very uncomfortable in those sorts of chats. So I don't want to sit there and watch it either. And so when you're moderating, you have to read everything. You have to listen to the streamer. So when you're moderating, you have to make sure that you're not going to walk away from that feeling like you need a shower. So, Leanne says here, I'm not a fan of negative people, so I'm not looking at all for negative YouTube channel or live stream. Yeah, so and this is the thing, like, we have so much content on YouTube, so many different things, so millions of different types of channels and niches and sub niches and all this sort of stuff. Different, like, and this is the thing, like, I keep our content, our language on this channel sort of PG-13. It's advertiser friendly. Somebody walks past with their kids, they don't have to worry or block their ears or anything like that. That's not the case for every channel, and that's totally fine. Every channel needs to make these decisions for themselves. So as long as your moderators and your audience all are on the same page, then it can work. But if, like, so say I went in to moderate one of these negative channels and I wasn't given sort of the rundown, I might try to wrangle the audience to stop whatever hateful words they're using or whatever it is. And that would be a misstep from me as a moderator, because I would not be doing what the channel owner or, it says that I was not live for a second there. I don't know. Did I drop out? Did I come back? I don't know. It says excellent now, but it literally said no data for a second there. Very weird. I think I've got a door closed because my family were quite loud this morning. I might open the door and see if that's making a difference. I mean, it shouldn't make a difference, but it might. It is not being good here. It's dropping in and out. No, the internet's dropping in and out. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I am currently live. Please let me know if I am live for you. Yeah, I'm not sure if this one's an Ecamm thing. I think this one might have been a My Internet thing because I had the door closed. It buffered, but I'm back. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. Circle of Doom for Gamer Widows. Little buffering again. All good. Okay. I'm still getting like a poor signal error, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to have some tea. But yeah, when it comes to moderating somebody else's live chat, you have to be moderating it in the way that the streamer wants, in the way that the audience need as such. So if you are going to be moderating for a live chat, you have to go in knowing what the audience is about. So it is very difficult. I am live. Oh, that's good. Thank you guys. I just had like a black screen here, just like no signal, like no data going kind of thing. So just for a sec, it was just flick. It would flicker and then go excellent and then nothing and then poor and then nothing and then excellent. It's just having a party, absolute party. I have no idea why it's doing it. Live streaming, hey, who'd do it? Hey, growing to live. It's great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. So yeah, so just when we're making these decisions around our moderators, around who we're going to have in our channels, what kind of audience we're trying to attract, you need to think about it as a whole picture, is basically what I'm trying to say. You need to look at it from the perspective of, if your moderator is on a different page than you as a streamer, they could actually be doing more damage than good in your live chat. So you need to sort of make sure that your moderators are all on the same page. I think that chatting with your moderators is a really good idea. Having conversations, having a way to talk to them, whether it is like a Facebook Messenger group or a Discord or whatever it is, having a way to interact with your moderators and keeping them informed of what's going on, I think is really important. Like, you know, if like for me, for Fiberific, it's the same stream every week, blah 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 blah. Every Thursday we do that, and it's been the sort of the way to, so I interact with them a little less about that sort of stuff, because they all know what they're doing. I don't need to hold their hands and you know, that sort of thing. But if I'm not going to stream, I let them know, you know. And if there's an issue, I normally have it open in my phone. Like if Doug messaged me right now on Facebook and told me something, I would see it, because I need that interaction as well. And I know not all streamers do that, and it can make things difficult, especially if the chat is busy and the moderator is trying to, like, hey streamer, there's an issue here. And there's no way for them to get that across. I think that that's a really important thing. You need to somehow have a way to interact with at least one of your moderators during a live chat. Now, it's not to say that you can't focus on something else, but just needs to be a way that where you just glance every now and again and just see if something's happened. So YouTube has been flaky for the last 24 hours for lives. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So maybe it's not Ecamm and it's not my internet. Let's just blame YouTube for this one. Oh, it's time to, hey, why is that not, that one hasn't come across. Where is it? Interesting. I did not get the comment here from Livestream Consultants. Time to get the band hammer out and threaten the internet with the little physical attitude adjustment. That did not come across to Social Stream Ninja. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, that happens sometimes. I'm like perplexed. But yeah, so it's just one of these things where you need to have everyone on the same page. It's like any kind of business, any kind of venture. If people are on different pages and they're going off on their own adventures, who knows what's going to happen? And you'll have split audience. You'll have people who are siding with, you'll have people siding with the mods, people siding with the streamers. You'll have people siding with different mods, you know, and it creates an issue. So, you know, it's just one of these things. Oh, mobile has 0 emojis. Really? Oh, okay. So I didn't realize, I must have sort of not seen that it was held, Doug. So that's interesting. So if it's held, and then I'm assuming either you or Leanne release that, it doesn't come across. Okay. I didn't know that. It's got an attitude. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeti time. Hello, Yeti. Yeah, I didn't see it I didn't see it get held. I don't know what word in there. It might be like the threatening kind of thing. Sometimes it's like physical violence I don't like. I don't know. YouTube sometimes has some interesting ways. It's not one of my banned words. But YouTube has got their own list that they don't publicize. So, and I understand why they don't publicize it, because people would just game the system to work around it, because that's what they do. You've got these people out there whose whole enjoyment is trolling, and they will do whatever it is that they want to do to try and get around whatever moderation is out there. Some of them are quite clever, I will say. I don't mean to sound impressed, but some of them are very, very, like, they just keep going. They just keep going. They just keep going. I mean, it sounds awful. I kind of enjoy those ones, because it's just like, come on back. Come on back. Let's see what we can do next. Because like you, I too can do this all day. So, yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what would have triggered that, honestly. I'm just sort of reading that comment. Time to get the ban hammer out and threaten the internet with a little physical. I mean, it is quite a physical sounding, well, not aggressive. Yeah, maybe aggressive. Yeah. Trolls just need a little wood chip reaction. Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, it's interesting, because like there's some communities that actually welcome the trolls, and it's it's just what they do. Um, I'm not that. I'm not that. In saying that, we had a troll many, many years ago over on the Fiberific channel, and it got to the point where he would come to the stream every week, and now he knits and spins. We converted that troll. Um, but that's a special kind of person, that was very different. I think it was just, I think he was curious. I think he was yarn curious all along. So, yeah. Um, hmm. But that's the thing. Sometimes people troll because they don't know another way. Like, we see when kids come into like Nick's stream sometimes, and just how they talk in the chat. Like, Doug and I'll be like, this is a kid, right? Um, and it's not until they're sort of educated that, like, hey, this isn't appropriate for this particular stream. And quite often they'll calm down. They will sort of understand, oh, well, I'm not going to get exactly what I want when I want, because they're basically a toddler chucking a tantrum. And when you pull them up and you just go, hey, look, we can just time you out if that's what it's going to take, or we can just block you. We have options here. Like, this is not acceptable behavior in this stream. And there's those that just keep going, and then there's those that go, oh, okay, and they take the adjustment, and then they stop, and those people learn. And I even I look at those people, although they are quite often kids. I look at those kids as the kind that are more willing to learn. They understand, oh, okay, all right, this is a different place, and they learn. Growing to Live says, I have no tolerance for trolls. I think there's different kinds of trolls, and I think there are some trolls that I'm just like, nope, you are gone, buddy, bye-bye. And then there's others that you're just a bit like, are you actually a troll, or are you just not quite sure how to deal with this situation? And then feel it out, and they might be gone, but they might get to stay. That depends. I do try very hard, especially when I'm moderating for somebody else's channel. I try very hard to give their audience the benefit of the doubt. I don't block people easily on other people's channel. On my channel, like, it's just like, bye. But on other people's channel, I don't block people easily. I want to sometimes, as Doug is probably the most the most aware. Because he quite often gets the messages like, oh my God, I just want to, this is my nemesis. He quite often gets those messages from me. But, I don't always block them. Sometimes we try to correct them. We try to help them. Sometimes they're just so frustrated, and they just don't know how to get that out in a way that's not trolly. And trying to see through that sometimes is also what it takes. But yeah, it can be it can be difficult. Look, I've been known to time someone out for the entire length or the entire estimated length of a stream so that I didn't have to block them, but also I don't have to deal with them in the stream. So yeah. Livestream Consultant says, it's the nasty ones that are fun to allow them to scream into the void. Yes, it is. It is. It is. Doug knows where Chantelle keeps all her band hammers hidden. Yeah, he does. He does. Hey, John, it's great to see you. Thanks for jumping in. I'm kind of back, sort of. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting dichotomy of whether you block someone or not block someone. Depending on the channel, I do try to at least, like if I've blocked someone, I'd screenshot it, right? So if I'm working for somebody else and I block someone, I screenshot it because there might be background information I don't have, and then that streamer has to go through and find that username and remove them from the block list. And sometimes block lists can be quite long. And they're not always in the easiest order to find people. So if you've got the actual username, sometimes it makes things a little bit easier to unblock them if need be. And that's the reality. You can unblock people. So like no matter what you do as a moderator, the channel owner can mostly remedy it. Now, if somebody is timed out and all their comments are removed, there's no way to bring all those comments back. But when that person comes back from timeout, you can apologize, or even like while they're timed out, you can go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you were accidentally timed out, you did nothing wrong. And you can explain to them what happened really, really quickly. And most of them are fine. Every now and again, you get someone who like, that was it, that was the edge, and they're now over it. But mostly they're fine. But you have to sort of be willing to you have to make decisions on the fly as a moderator. Like, especially in a busy chat, you've got a few seconds to make a decision and get rid of something or leave it. And I think that being indecisive is probably not the easiest, is not the best way for a moderator. I think you sort of just really do just have to make the decision. You need to wear the decision, and if you are blocking people, just grab a quick screenshot of the username and just keep it aside. Unless it's like such an obviously awful troll, or the streamer has said block that person. Like, I don't worry about that then. It's going to have a ton of story examples in it. It's definitely got some story examples in it. It really does. I've been working on some of those. And you know, there's how do I describe this book? It's going to be for streamers as well as for people who want to moderate. It really is for both, and understanding the advantages of, well, the importance of having moderators for a start. Let's just start there. The importance of having moderators in your live chat. And then going on from there, and how to moderate, and then, you know, some of the more nuanced takes of why decisions are made, why they're not made, things like that. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope. I'm really hoping it's going to be interesting. I'm a bit scared. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit scared. But yeah, it's slowly. I haven't worked on it while I've been really sick. It's just my brain just wasn't there. I basically struggled to sit on the couch and watch TV. So yeah, writing a book wasn't happening when you're just trying to like breathe in, breathe out, don't cough. that was my last few weeks. But anyway, but I keep seeing like that little, Doug, you've got it doesn't come up here, the little icon that you're using, the little translation icon that comes up in the live chat. It's not making it across to Social Stream Ninja. And so but every time I see it, I just think, oh my gosh, we need that live translation for the whole chat. Every time I see it, it's like a big alarm bell in my face. I'm quite often like, why doesn't YouTube do this? And why don't we have tagging on mobile? And how hard is it to do this? I'm so excited for this live translation that I just want it for everybody. I think it is such a game changer that I want it for everybody, honestly. Um, Livestream Consultant says, how big do you think the book will be page count wise? Look, I've got a goal. I would like it to be around that 300, 330 page mark. But in saying that, I'm not going to fluff it out. So if it is shorter because it needed to be short, it's going to be shorter. I'm not just going to fill it. Do you know what I mean? But I want it to be a decent sized book. I want it to have good examples and good stories, and good information. Otherwise, what is the point, honestly? Learn live streaming. So basically, YouTube are now bringing out live translations in the live chat. So here in the comments area of live chats, when you go in and you can check off, say, the leaderboard or live reactions, there's another checkbox that's appeared and it says live translations. Now, right now, only the streamer can see the live translation. So if somebody put something in another language in the live chat right now, I could see the translation, but you couldn't, and the mods couldn't. And I really love the idea, but I think it needs to be open broader. I do think that at least the moderators need to be able to see that live translation, if not the whole chat, but at least the moderators, because then the moderators can make their decisions based on what's actually, in that comment. And I just think it's just a really cool thing. So, just being able to have that there, to help us learn live streams. Although I've seen some very unfortunate mistranslation via tools, there's always the risk, right? There's always the risk. But I think, like, I moderate some chats where there's a few comments in other languages, and I have to actually spend the time to cut or to copy it over, drop it into like Google Translate, work out what they're saying, and then respond accordingly. And sometimes the chats are moving quite quickly, and then you've spent like a minute on something, or even half a minute on something that would usually have taken a second, and it feels like such a time suck. And I confess I get this attitude every now and again. I'm like, man, the whole chat's in English. Why is this comment in this language? And it's no one's fault. It's not a bad thing. It's awesome that somebody's able to watch the video and they're commenting. But I do think that having the option there for the live chat to be able to be reading it in another language, I think it's so cool. I really don't enjoy the auto dubbing feature, and I seem to be in the minority on that, but I want to hear the person's actual voice with English captions if possible. When it comes to the dubbing, I think if you're dubbing into another language, so like say this video was being dubbed into German, I've got no issues with the auto dub voice being not my voice, because my voice doesn't, I do speak German, but my voice is not speaking German right now. I'm speaking English. And for them to understand that, I suppose I look at the dubbing differently, because I look at it from a different perspective. I look at it from, they've got the video, say they're a native German speaker, they're getting, their subtitles are in German and the auto dub is in German, and it's more to gain the German audience. I'm just using German as an example. There's no reason why. It's just because that's the language I learned at high school. That's it. That's the only reason it jumped into my head. And so I suppose there's different reasons for dubbing, is what I'm getting to. So yeah, it's yeah, it's a tricky one. John says here, like, in a pure access to information fashion, I guess that makes sense, but I would want to have a relationship with creators. Yeah, look, I think opening up the language barriers gives you more chance of having relationships with audience members from other countries. I personally I don't even speak German well enough to hold a conversation with somebody. So I am limited to English speaking people that I can help. Um, so having that open up more, I think, is a good thing, at least from me. But you've written here, I also hate AI voices in general. So I don't like the computerized ones, but I'm noticing they're getting a lot more natural now. I'm not, I'm so torn with it, honestly. I see the benefits, but I also see I see the downside as well. And it is a tough one. It's a tough one. And it's going to be down to each individual creator what they do and don't do. I mean, you can turn off auto dubbing off your channel. You don't have to allow it. You can go in and remove all the auto dubs from the different languages if that's what you want to do. You can totally do that. Um, Someone told me once they wanted to be the John Lacey of Sweden, and I still don't know how to feel about that. I would take that as a compliment. That's how that's how I feel about that. I would take that as a compliment. I mean, I'm not good with compliments, but that's what I would do. It's I don't know. It's one of these things where the world is getting smaller, and the language barrier is becoming less of a barrier and more of a small hurdle. That even someone busted knees can sort of get their way over. Um, it's it's a good and bad thing. It's definitely pros and cons. But you have to decide if it weighs up or stacks up for you as an individual. Yeah, it's I I don't know. I don't go out and I don't consciously add translations to my channels, but it's because of it's all live streams, so it does make it trickier. But in saying that, I also see the advantages of what it can do when you do add those languages into channels, and I can see the difference in merch sales and the views for those other countries. I think there's a broader picture to look at as well if you're running as a business. Um, so yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But at the end of the day, this is your channel and your business, and you have to run it how you're comfortable or how you want to run it. Maybe comfortable is not the right word when we're talking about business, but um, it's your decision. It's your business and it's your decision. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's a decision that you make or don't make. Um, so yeah, you don't have to know how you feel about it. You don't have to, and you certainly don't have to like AI voices. It's this is you're allowed to be you. That's the point of YouTube, right? You're allowed to be you. But there's a lot of people now that are running their channels as sort of more media companies, and they're small part of a larger business, and having it open up to more international voices, so more languages, actually helps their business. So that's the business decision that they've made. Does that make any sense whatsoever at all? Let me know in the chat. Mm. Um, I remember the first time I watched some Japanese pop stars in YouTube, um, in a YouTube short with weird English AI voices, my brain exploded. Yeah, yeah. And I also I like watching those videos where you've got like the 10 people singing and and you have to guess. Well, so not 10 people singing, but it's 10 people's mouths moving, and you're supposed to guess which voice, like which person's voice it is that you can hear. I love all that sort of stuff. That makes my brain happy. And so I don't know. I think it comes like John. It might be something as simple as this. How many? Like we're in Australia, right? We have laws about content on television. How many ads over the years have you sat there and just gone, they have dubbed that with an Australian actor's voice? That is not them. And that's the negative thing. You're like, why couldn't they just hire an Australian and reshoot the ad? No, they just did a voiceover. And so there's that negative side of it that definitely hits me right in the face every now and again when I see that. And I think that's probably what would have happened to me when I saw that one. live stream consultant says, as far as the language thing goes, India, US, Brazil, Indonesia, Mexico, Japan, Pakistan, Germany, Vietnam, and Philippines are the top 10 in user base. Those would be my choices for auto dubbing. Yeah, I don't know which, like for me, it's, if you're aiming for an American audience, you definitely want to have Spanish in there for sure. Brazil is another huge one, so you want Portuguese. It's going to come down to your individual audience. Honestly, you need to look at say your top 5 and then choose which ones you're going to go with. Yeah, that's super common. I hear. Yeah, I remember there was a dog treat ad, and it was one of the it was one of the blonde haired brothers. Like there's a family of actors. Belushis, no. Anyway, it was the blonde haired youngest brother of this, and then it was an Aussie Australian voice, and I'm like, oh my god. Like this is an actor who I've seen in TV shows. I know what his voice sounds like. Yeah, the cleaning commercial ads. They were they're terrible. They do it all the time. John says, and I heard on a podcast that there are a lot of Mr. Beast type YouTubers, and now that the language barrier is being crossed, it's super obvious that they're all doing the same shtick. I mean, I see that as we're going to see a lot more original content, because they're not just going to be able to do the same thing but in another language, because we're going to pick up on it. It's going to be noticed. They're not going to be able to just redo someone else's content but in another language. And you know, like for me, it's nearly as bad. And you know, you might not agree with me, but it's nearly as bad as those people who just try to do a re-edit of somebody else's content. It's not their content. They didn't write it. It's not their script. It's not I mean, quite often it's not their A-roll or B-roll either. But they've jiggery-pokeryed it to make it their own. And that it does grind my gears when I see people on YouTube yelling at YouTube like, oh, my channel was taken down. And then you look at their content and it's like, that's not your content. Like, those are not your videos. Like, why are you thinking you are protected? And they're like, yeah, but it was my original edit. And it's just like, an original edit does not mean you had the right to use the content in the first place. You have no protections. And I feel the exact same way about people who just redo other people's content in another language. So it's not like the original channel owner is redoing their content in other languages. That's a different thing. But when somebody else just comes in and just takes their entire script and just redoes it in a different language, that is not original content. That's just a translation. Let me look here. I hate to make it all about me, but I wonder if I try to compete with John Lacey of Sweden or just let it go. Well, you can just be like, well, I'm John Lacey. I'm the John Lacey original of the world. Yeah. Oh, we do. We need a Homer Simpson. What really grinds my gears, Jeff. That would be a fun one. I think so. I'll have to look for it. But yeah, I do get annoyed with people who just steal other people's content. I mean, it's a big part of my day-to-day job now, is going through and finding people who have stolen our content, and have that removed. And it's thank you for the work. Thank you for the work is all I can say. Because there's a lot of it. There's a lot of people out there just doing whatever the heck they want with other people's content. And like, Facebook make it so easy, and they monetize it, and Facebook make it hard for us to pull it down. TikTok make it near impossible for you to pull it down. It's just, you're a content thief. You have no skills. You have no talent. You steal someone else's content. You upload it on a platform with quite often the username of the content that you've stolen. You have nothing original to offer. Find something else to do. Like that's my opinion on that. I try not to be hard on creators. I understand the creative process is difficult. But if your goal is to just steal other people's content, snip it down, and re-upload it onto other platforms, you're not a content creator. You don't get to call yourself a content creator. You're a thief. And that's it. And you just need to accept that and move on and do something else with your life, because you're a thief, and being a thief is not actually a job. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, ah. Calm down, Chantelle. Blood pressure's going up. I can feel it. But yeah, it does frustrate me. I've removed Facebook groups because all their content was like they were pretending to be a client, and I was able to prove it to Facebook, and Facebook removed it. And I've literally had them email me asking them for their group back. Please, can I have my group back? You know, it's all my income. And you're just sort of sitting there like, no, like, who says yes to that? Who goes, oh, okay, you can keep stealing our content and usurping our audience, no problems. But yeah, it's okay, I'm going to try and move on. Please help me move on in the chat. It's like storing, using. Hang on a sec. It's like writing an essay using previous years as a reference. Who used the previous year's essay? I'm not quite sure what that means. It's like students using previous year's essay as a reference. But using something as a reference is different than just hacking it up and only using that. I know I'm a grumpy old man, but the sheer amount of young people doing reaction videos to music from the 80s and going, oh my God, I thought Taylor Swift invented music 10 years ago. You know what? My reaction to similar stuff now reminds me of something my mum said when I was a kid. Like, it was, do you guys, I mean, I'm pretty old, so, but do you guys remember when Kylie Minogue brought out Locomotion? Like back in that, I think was it mid-80s? Something like that. I was young, but like, I think I don't even know. Anyway, when it came out, and I remember the music video being on, and I was learning the dance and singing the song, and my mum just started singing the song, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Mum, you've learnt a new song. And she's like, no, this is not a new song. This is a cover. And I'm just like, what? And now we've got like the same thing happening, and you just, I remember it. Oh my gosh. Then I've been watching content, this exact content, where millennials are listening to You're the Voice for the first time and they're shocked that people have talent. I spend a lot of time in the New to You tab on YouTube and just going, don't show this channel or anything like that. I like this. Live stream consultants in there making John feel better. Still a young. But yeah, oh my gosh. But it's the thing. Like, there is a difference between doing a cover and doing like just totally ripping something off, right? Like, that's a fine line. With covers, you have to get permission before you're allowed to like produce that as an album. You have to get permission from the original people, either from the songwriter or the production company or whatever. If you are just doing covers of other people's content, oh my gosh, and no permission and no, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Tommy Emmanuel's pretty special though. Like, let's just be honest there. But yeah, my friends, I'm actually going to bail. I'm going to have to get up and get moving. I've really enjoyed our chat today. I hope that you enjoyed our chat today. I know it was a little even more random than what we normally go with. It was just sort of to try and get me back into the routine, because I've been out of it for a little bit. But I really, really appreciate you all jumping in and you all hanging out and giving me your opinions and chatting about some of these things. Some of them lighter, some of them heavier, some of them a bit grey around the middles. But having these conversations helps us to learn more. And I really appreciate you helping me to learn more as well. So have an awesome day, and I will catch you all next time. Bye now.